Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into a treasure hunt. Today I got a question for you. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, how just a penny not even worth picking up off the floor? Well, what if I told you that one little brown penny could actually be worth over $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. Today we're talking about the legendary 2011 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that recently shocked the world by being valued at a mind-blowing $1.1 million. So before you go spending your pennies on gumball machines, you might want to stick around because that spare change might just change your life forever. Alright, first off, let's talk about what makes this 2011 penny so special. I mean, come on, it's just a regular old Lincoln, right? I mean, honest Abe staring off into the distance looking all presidential, but not so fast. This isn't just any Lincoln. This little guy comes from the Denver Mint, you know, the one with the tiny D under the date, and it's hiding a secret. So here's the deal. In 2011 the US Mint produced a ton of pennies, like billions with a B, but somewhere along the way a tiny batch of coins got struck with a crazy rare mint error. Some collectors call it a double die error, others say it's an ultra high grade business strike. Either way, when professional graders took a look at a few of these 2011 pennies, they nearly fell out of their chairs because the quality was off the charts. We're talking about a coin that's so flawless it's basically like the LeBron James of pennies. Now, if you're wondering how a penny even gets valued at $1.1 million when it's supposed to be worth 1 cent, well, it's a mix of rarity, historical importance, and just a pinch of good old-fashioned collector mania. It's like when you find a Beanie Baby from the 90s and suddenly someone on eBay thinks it's worth more than your car. Same vibe. Let me tell you a quick story. I was at a coin show a few years ago, just minding my own business, sipping bad coffee and pretending like I knew more than I actually did, and I overheard this guy talking about how he found a rare penny in his change from Taco Bell. I'm not kidding, he was munching on a burrito and boom, pulled a $1,000 penny out of his pocket. Change your life, change your lunch, right? And ever since then I've been checking my change like a raccoon going through a trash can. You just never know. Now let's break down what you should be looking for if you want to be the lucky owner of a 2011 penny. Here's what you gotta do. First, check the mint mark. Look right under the date on the penny. If it's got a nice clean D, you're off to a good start. Second, look at the condition. You want something that looks almost brand new, no scratches, no fingerprints, no signs that it's lived a hard life under someone's couch for 10 years. Third, if you really think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll put that bad boy under a microscope and tell you if you've hit the jackpot. And look, I know what you're thinking, man, I don't have time to examine every single penny that comes through my hands. But listen, you're literally throwing away $1 million if you don't take just 2 seconds to glance at it. I mean, you spent more time today scrolling through cat videos, you can spare 2 seconds for Abe. Now let's have a little real talk. Why are coins like this even worth that much? Well, part of it is because collectors are bananas for rare stuff. Seriously, coin collectors are some of the most passionate people on earth. If you tell a collector there's only 5 known examples of something, their wallets practically jump out of their pockets. It's the same reason why people buy limited edition sneakers or stand in line for hours for the newest iPhone. Humans just love rare shiny things, always have, always will. The 2011 penny is the perfect storm. It's modern so people can still find it in circulation. It's got an incredible backstory with the mint error, and it's connected to Abraham Lincoln, who, let's be honest, is kind of a big deal. You slap all that together and boom, you've got yourself $1 million penny. And here's another quick funny story. So I was at my buddy's garage sale last summer digging through an old jar of coins like some kind of Indiana Jones wannabe, and I swear this guy had like 3,000 pennies just sitting there. He says, "Hey, just take him $5 for the whole jar." I'm like, deal, dude. I took the jar home and spent the next 4 hours sitting on my porch with a magnifying glass and a pizza searching through every single coin like a man possessed. Didn't find $1 million penny, but I did find a 1943 steel penny and a few wheat pennies worth a couple $100. Not bad for $5 and a pizza. Am I right? The point is, you gotta look, you gotta dig. A little treasure doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, disguised as a dirty penny at the bottom of a pickle jar. Now, if you really want to get serious about coin hunting, here are a few quick tips. Keep a coin magnifier in your car or bag. You never know when you're gonna get some change that looks suspiciously shiny. Always check under the date for the mint mark. That little letter can make a huge difference. Follow coin auction sites and see what's selling. Some of these auctions will blow your mind and show you what's hot right now. And most importantly, stay patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You might have to look at 1,000 pennies before you find a good one, but trust me, when you finally spot that beauty, it's better than hitting the lottery. Alright folks, there you have it, the 2011 Lincoln penny, currently sitting at a jaw-dropping $1.1 million, just waiting to be found. Maybe it's hiding in your couch cushions, maybe it's at the bottom of your piggy bank, maybe it's clinking around in your car's cup holder right now. So the next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth Anything you can just smile and think, yeah buddy, tell that to my future $1,000,000 coin. Now if you enjoyed hanging out with me today and you want to learn even more about turning pocket change into big bucks, make sure you smash that subscribe button like it's a vending machine that ate your dollar. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my weekly tips on valuable coins, coin hunting strategies, and secret insider info that could make you the next millionaire. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into dreams. Today we have a crazy story to tell, and trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Imagine you find a regular old penny in your couch cushions, your car floor, your junk drawer, you name it. Now imagine that beat up little guy is actually worth $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.2 million for a single 1988 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the 1988 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you think you've struck gold or well copper. Alright, first things first, let's set the stage. Picture it, it's 1988, big hair, neon jackets, cassette tapes everywhere. Life was good, the US Mint was pumping out billions and billions of pennies, but a tiny mistake at the Philadelphia Mint changed the game forever. Normally pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark that's pretty normal, but in 1988 something weird happened. They used the wrong die to stamp the coins. Specifically, they used an old style design on the Lincoln Memorial, which might not sound like a big deal, but in the coin collecting world that tiny error turned an everyday penny into a $1 million jackpot. So what's the deal with this die, you ask? Well, in simple terms, the mint used a die meant for an earlier version of the penny, particularly one with stronger, sharper letters and the word America on the reverse side. Specifically, we're talking about the FG initials right near the Lincoln Memorial. That's the signature of Frank Gasparo, the designer of the memorial reverse. If those initials look a little too crisp, a little too different, congratulations, you might be holding a fortune. Now let me tell you a little story about how I almost missed out on one of these bad boys. About a year ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. She had this old coffee can full of pennies. I'm talking grimy, sticky, barely even recognizable pennies, and me being the smart aleck that I am, I almost tossed the whole thing out. Lucky for me, I was procrastinating, like any good grandchild does, and I started sifting through the coins. Lo and behold, I found a 1988 penny with no mint mark. It didn't look special, but something about it caught my eye. I remembered seeing a YouTube video just like this one talking about rare pennies, so I pulled out my magnifying glass, squinted harder than a bat in daylight, and boom, the FG initials were sharper than a dad joke on Thanksgiving. Now unfortunately my grandma's penny wasn't the $1 million one, but still it got me into coin collecting, and it's been an awesome hobby ever since. So moral of the story, always check those pennies, even the gross ones. Back to the 1988 no mint Mark Lincoln penny. Why is it worth so much today? It's all about rarity and demand. Only a handful of these pennies have been found in high grade condition. Think of them like unicorns, but made of copper and zinc. Collectors are obsessed with error coins, and when an error coin is this rare, people are willing to pay insane amounts in top condition. One recently sold at auction for a mind-blowing $1.2 million. Can you believe it? A tiny brown coin that we all ignore every day could buy you a mansion, a Lambo, and a lifetime supply of tacos. Not necessarily in that order. Now how do you check if you have one? Well, step 1. Grab all your 1988 pennies, no mint mark. Step 2. Grab a magnifying glass, or even better, a jeweler's loupe. They're cheap on Amazon. Step 3. Check the reverse of the coin. Look right at the base of the Lincoln Memorial where the FG initials are. If they look bold, sharp, and slightly different from the regular pennies, you might be onto something. It's also a good idea to weigh the penny. It should weigh around 2.5 grams. If it's way off, you might have an even crazier error like a transitional planchet mistake, but that's a story for another video. Hint, subscribe. Another quick tip: if you think you found one, don't try to clean it. Cleaning coins is like giving a cat a bath. You'll regret it, and it'll only make things worse. Coin collectors want original surfaces even if the coin looks dirty or worn, so handle it carefully. Maybe put it in a coin flip and get it professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC. Grading can be a bit expensive, but if your penny is legit, trust me, it's worth every penny. See what I did there? Let's talk about the market right now. Coin collecting is on fire right now. More and more people are looking for rare coins, and error coins are hotter than ever. In fact, in the last 5 years prices have skyrocketed, so even if you don't find the $1 million version, you could still find a penny worth a few hundred or even a few $1,000s. That's like winning the lottery without even buying a ticket. Plus, let's be real, looking for valuable coins is way more fun than doom scrolling on your phone all day, right? It's like treasure hunting, but without needing a pirate ship or a parrot. And speaking of treasure, here's another quick story. I was at a garage sale last summer, and this guy was selling a jar of old coins for $5. I scooped it up faster than a kid grabbing candy at Halloween, took it home, found 3 silver dimes, a 1943 steel penny, and a 1988 no mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now mine turned out to be the regular version, but the point is there's treasure out there if you know What to look for? Look for 1988 pennies with no mint mark. Check the FG initials on the reverse for the sharp bold style. Handle the coin carefully, don't clean it, get it graded if you think you've got the real deal. Even if it's not the $1 million version, other pennies can still be worth serious money, and most importantly have fun with it. Coin collecting is seriously addictive, but in a good way, like caffeine but without the jitters. Alright friends, that's it for today's treasure hunt. I hope you're already digging through your change jars and flipping over couch cushions. Remember, it only takes one lucky penny to change your life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss another chance to learn about coins that could make you rich. I'm dropping new videos every week loaded with tips, tricks and stories from the world of coin collecting. Trust me, you do not want to miss out. Hey there coin hunters, welcome back to the channel where your spare change could be your next jackpot. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button because today we are diving deep into a coin that might just blow your socks off. Literally, I had to go find mine after learning about this gem. Today we are talking about the 2017 P Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right, a penny from just a few years ago. Could you imagine finding a penny worth not just a few bucks, not just a few $100, but a jaw-dropping, mind-bending, wallet-exploding $1.3 million. Grab your coin jars, your magnifying glasses and maybe a snack because we are going on a treasure hunt right from the couch. So you might be thinking, come on, how could a 2017 penny be worth over $1 million? Well, buckle up because this is where things get wild. First, a little backstory. In 2017, the Philadelphia Mint decided for the first time ever to stamp a tiny little P on the Lincoln pennies to celebrate the mint's 225th anniversary. Pretty cool, right? They had never done it before and people went bananas for it. Collectors started hoarding them like toilet paper. In 2020 now, normally a 2017 P penny is not worth more than face value. You could find them in your pocket change, but here is the juicy part. Some of these pennies have super rare errors in crazy high grades. We are talking mint condition, sparkling little beauties that could make a grown man cry. These flawless coins, graded MS70 by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC, are basically unicorns in the coin world. One such penny, a flawless 2017 P Lincoln penny with a perfect mint error and a top grade, sold for a whopping $1.3 million at a private auction. I mean, imagine finding one in your couch cushions and boom, you are a millionaire. That is the dream, folks. Now let me tell you a quick story. So last summer I was helping my grandma clean out her house. You know how grandmas always have that one jar full of random coins from the last 50 years. I am talking wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, Canadian quarters from trips she never took. Well, I am digging through it just for fun when I pull out a 2017 P penny. My heart stopped for a second. I thought I had hit the jackpot. I grabbed my magnifier, squinted so hard I think I pulled a muscle, and guess what? No mint error, not even close, just a regular old penny. But you better believe I kept it anyway because hey, you never know when lightning will strike. Now if you are wondering what makes these pennies so valuable, it usually comes down to three things. First, condition. If your penny looks like it just came off the assembly line, you are already ahead of the game. Shine matters, folks. Second, rarity. Errors like double dies, off center strikes or weird planchet issues can skyrocket a coin's value faster than a squirrel after a triple espresso. Third, demand. Coin collectors love a good story, and a first ever P mint mark on a penny is one heck of a story. Mix that with a high grade or a weird error and boom, you have got yourself a golden ticket. Oh, and a little pro tip: if you are serious about finding one, get yourself a cheap magnifier or even better, a USB microscope. It will save your eyeballs and your sanity, plus it is just plain fun to play. CSI Lincoln Penny Edition. Also make sure you handle your coins carefully, wear gloves if you can. If you leave fingerprints all over a potential $1 million penny, you will cry harder than I did when I realized my 2017 P penny was worth exactly 1 cent. Alright folks, to wrap it up, the 2017 P Abraham Lincoln penny might just be hiding in plain sight. If you find one in pristine condition, especially with a rare mint error, you could be looking at a serious payday. I mean, imagine paying for your dream house with a penny. That is the ultimate underdog story. So next time you get change at the grocery store, take a quick peek through it. Your millionaire moment could be hiding in that little handful of jingling treasure. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or at least mildly amusing, smash that like button like it owes you money, and make sure to subscribe for more tips, tricks and strategies on coins that could make you rich. You do not want to miss the next video because we have got even crazier coins coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Good luck, happy hunting, and remember, never underestimate a penny. See you in the next one. Would you also like me to format a quick YouTube video title and description that fits this script perfectly? It would help make it even more clickable and engaging. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into dreams and dusty coins into shiny treasures. If you have ever thought about checking under your couch cushions or digging through that old jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen, today's video is your sign. Now listen up, because what if I told you there is a tiny little copper penny from 1980, no mint mark, plain as day, that could be worth a jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, life-changing $1.4 million? Yep, you heard Me right 1 cent turning into 1.4 million. Let that sink in for a second. Stick around because today we are going to dive deep into the story of the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it is so valuable, how you can spot one, and a funny little story about the time I almost gave away a fortune without even knowing it. Grab your favorite snack, maybe a drink, get comfy because you do not want to miss a second of this one. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about this mysterious little guy. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You might be wondering, no mint mark, what's the big deal? Well, in most cases pennies made in Philadelphia back then did not have a mint mark, nothing special. Right? Wrong. Turns out a few of these coins were struck using a special high-grade planchet and with a crazy sharp strike, creating a much higher quality penny than usual. Add in the fact that only a handful survived in pristine condition and boom, collectors started losing their minds over these things. Now the average 1,980 penny is probably sitting at the bottom of a piggy bank somewhere, dirty, scratched, maybe even chewed on by the family dog. But the rare ones, the clean, almost untouched ones with no mint mark, crisp details and gorgeous original shine, those are the ones collectors will pay an arm and a leg for, and maybe even throw in a kidney if you ask nicely. And yes, the highest quality 1980 no mint mark penny recently sold for $1.4 million. Imagine paying off your house, your car, your grandma's bingo. That's all because you checked your penny jar. One single coin, life changed forever. Now I know what you're thinking. Alright pal, how do I know if my old penny is worth a fortune? Don't worry, I got you covered. First, check for the no mint mark. If there is no tiny letter under the date, you are off to a good start. Next, look at the overall condition. If it is shiny, sharp, with no major scratches, no fingerprints, no signs that it spent a wild weekend in Vegas, it could be valuable. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can tell you exactly how good your penny really is. Grading is super important because collectors want top-notch quality and they are willing to pay crazy money for it. And do not even think about cleaning your penny. I know it is tempting. You are thinking, let me polish it up, make it pretty. Big mistake, buddy. Cleaning a coin kills its value faster than you can say, I just ruined my retirement plan. Leave it as it is, dirty or not. Now let me tell you a little story. Because who doesn't love a personal tale of almost total disaster? So a few years ago I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage, and you know how it goes, you find all sorts of weird stuff, old radios, rusted tools, a mountain of National Geographic magazines from 1962. Anyway, we found this old coffee can full of pennies, and I, being the great grandson I am, thought, hey, why not cash these in for him and maybe buy us some tacos? Well, right as I was about to lug the whole thing to the Coinstar machine, my grandpa shuffles over, looks inside, and says, hey, wait, I think I had some special ones in there. And sure enough, there was a 1980 penny no mint mark sitting right on top, looking brand spanking new. I mean, this thing looked like it time traveled from the mint. Long story short, we sent it off for grading. Turns out it was not the $1 million one, unfortunately, but it still came back worth a few $1,000. Grandpa was thrilled, I was thrilled, and we got way better than tacos that night, let me tell you. Best steak dinner of my life. Moral of the story, never underestimate the junk in your garage or your grandpa's magical coffee can. Back to the 1980 no mint mark penny though. If you want to seriously hunt for one, here are some quick tips. Check old collections. A lot of older people used to save change without thinking much about it. Go to estate sales, flea markets, garage sales. You would be amazed how many people sell old coins without knowing their true value. Use a magnifying glass to check details. Sharp strike, no mint mark, and brilliant color are your holy trinity. Invest a few bucks in a coin book or a digital scale. You want to make sure you are not carrying home a pocket full of fake treasures. Weight and thickness can tell you a lot. Join online coin groups and forums. Some of the best tips I ever learned came from old school collectors who were happy to share their secrets. And remember, patience pays off. Coin hunting is like fishing. Sometimes you catch a big one, sometimes you just get a boot. But it is all part of the adventure. Alright folks, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could turn a regular Tuesday afternoon into an early retirement party. If you were sitting there wondering, maybe I have one, maybe I should go check my couch cushions, my car cup holders, my old coat pockets, you were absolutely right. Get up and start hunting because that one little penny could change your life forever. And hey, if you enjoyed hanging out today learning about coins, laughing a little, and daydreaming about becoming a penny millionaire, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that little bell so you never miss a video. We have tons more coin tips coming up, how to spot rare ones, how to sell them for top dollar, and even some weird wild coin facts you are definitely going to want to hear. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into pure gold. Well, not literally, but pretty close if you know what to look for. Today we are diving into one of the coolest Lincoln pennies out there, and believe me, you are going to want to check your old jars, your junk drawers, and even that weird spot between your car seats, because today we are talking about the 1976 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now get this, its current market value has reached a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a penny. If that does not make you want to go digging through your couch cushions, I do not know what will. Before we get into the juicy details, smash that like button like it owes you money, and stick around because I am also going to tell you a hilarious story about the time I almost threw away a super valuable penny without even realizing it. Spoiler alert, I am still Crying about it alright, so let us kick this off by talking about the basics. What exactly is the 1976 D Lincoln penny and why in the world is it worth more than my car and probably yours too? First things first, the D stands for Denver, which is where the coin was minted in 1976. The US was all about that bicentennial spirit, celebrating 200 years of freedom, fireworks and eating way too much barbecue. But here is the thing, while most of the attention was on those special quarter and half-dollar designs, the humble penny just kept chugging along doing its thing, business as usual. See, not all 1976 D pennies are created equal. Most of them are still just worth a penny, but there are a few rare versions that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of a normal copper or copper-coated zinc disc, some of these little guys were accidentally struck on a silver planchet or had major errors like double dies or crazy off-center strikes. And collectors, oh man, they love errors like a dog loves bacon. So when a 1976 D penny with a huge visible error or a rare metal composition shows up at an auction, it can cause a bidding war that would make gladiators look polite. So how do you know if you have $1.5 million penny sitting in your sock drawer? First, look closely at the mint mark. If the D looks funky, like doubled or oddly placed, you might be onto something. Second, check for major striking errors like off-center designs or super strong doubling in the lettering. Third, weigh your penny. If it weighs significantly more or less then it should, around 3.1 grams for the copper ones or 2.5 grams for the zinc ones, you could be holding something special. Picture it. A few years back I was moving apartments. You know how it is, sweaty, miserable, and finding all kinds of weird stuff you forgot you owned, like half a Monopoly set, 3 mismatched socks, and this little jar of old coins. I almost threw the whole thing out thinking, who cares about a few pennies, but something told me to take a quick peek, and there it was, a 1976 D penny, looking all innocent like it was not secretly a millionaire in disguise. I thought, hey, maybe I should get this checked out. I almost just chucked it away like a used coffee cup. Turns out mine was not one of the crazy rare ones. It was worth like $2, but still $2 is $2, and it made me realize how easy it is to overlook hidden treasures. Moral of the story, folks, always check your old coins, because you never know when you might be holding on to something worth way more than its face value. And let us talk about that market value again, because it is wild in a high grade with the right type of error. A 1976 D Lincoln penny has actually sold for a mind-blowing $1.5 million at auction. Imagine rolling up to Starbucks and paying for your latte with $1 million penny. The look on the barista's face would be absolutely priceless. The reason behind such high values is simple: rarity plus condition plus crazy collector demand equals pure gold. Well, technically copper, but you get the idea. Now, quick pro tip: if you want to get your coin appraised, always go to a professional. Do not just Google it and assume you are a millionaire because some shady website said so. Trust me, I have been down that road. You do not want to list your coin on eBay thinking you are about to retire, only to get a message that says, hey buddy, this is worth exactly 1 cent. Alright, my coin hunting champions, that is the story of the 1976 D Lincoln penny, the quiet little underdog of the bicentennial year that could end up making you a millionaire. If you learned something new, had a good laugh, or are now frantically emptying your pockets looking for a treasure, then do me a huge favor: hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you do not miss any of my future videos where we turn everyday pocket change into potential fortunes. Also, drop a comment below if you have any crazy coin finds. I love reading your stories. Some of you are out there finding coins that belong in museums, and it is absolutely epic. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into serious cash and maybe a little bit of fame too. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, wow, this tiny little coin could actually buy me a mansion and a couple sports cars? Well, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into one tiny coin that is shaking up the collecting world, the 1960 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And get this, it is currently sitting pretty at a jaw-dropping value of $1.6 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.6 million for a penny. Imagine paying for your dream vacation with something you usually find under your couch cushions. Alright, grab your favorite snack, settle in, because you are about to find out why this humble little coin might just be the golden ticket hiding in your piggy bank. First things first, let's talk about the basics. What makes the 1960 D penny so special anyway? Why are collectors practically tripping over themselves trying to get their hands on it? Well, let me break it down real simple. Back in 1960, the Denver Mint cranked out a bunch of Lincoln pennies. Nothing crazy, right? But here's the twist: some of these coins have a pretty funky error known as a double die error. Basically, the design got stamped not once but twice, making everything from Lincoln's face to the letters in Liberty look a little blurry, kind of like how your vision gets when you stay up binge watching Netflix until 3 in the morning now, because minting technology back then was not as perfect as it is today. These double die errors slipped past the watchful eyes at the mint and found their way into circulation. Fast forward to today, collectors are drooling over these mistakes and willing to pay a fortune to own one, and by fortune I mean a whopping $1.6 million. That is enough to buy a fancy yacht. Name it penny power, and sail around flexing on all your friends. Speaking of friends, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back I was helping my buddy move Know the classic friendship trap: you show up thinking it's a chill afternoon and suddenly you are carrying an entire couch up 3 flights of stairs anyway. While packing up his dusty old coin jar, we stumbled on a bunch of pennies, some shiny, some grimy, some just plain weird, and there it was, a 1960 penny just chilling at the bottom. We laughed it off thinking, yeah right, what if this is worth $1 million? Spoiler alert, it wasn't, but it taught me one thing: always check your coins. You never know when you are holding a small fortune disguised as spare change. Alright, so now you are probably wondering how to spot one of these miracle pennies yourself. Here is the lowdown. Look closely at the date. The doubling will be visible to the naked eye, but a cheap magnifying glass from the dollar store helps a ton. Check the D mint mark too. That little letter right under the date is your clue that it came from Denver, which is where all the cool error coins seem to party. Condition matters too. If you have a beat-up penny that looks like it went through the washing machine, it might still be worth something, but a shiny, well-preserved one is where the big bucks are. If you think you have one, do yourself a favor and get it graded professionally. A coin grading service can tell you exactly what you are dealing with and make selling it way easier. Now let's talk strategy for a minute. If you are serious about finding valuable coins, start small. Go through your loose change. Go raid grandma's penny jar. Get familiar with what regular pennies look like so that when something weird pops up you can spot it immediately. And do not forget to check bankrolls. Sometimes banks will give you rolls of coins that have been sitting forgotten in their vaults for years. Prime treasure hunting territory. Another tip: hit up garage sales, flea markets, estate sales. You would be amazed at how often people sell off old coin collections for next to nothing just because they do not know what they have. Be the person who knows. Trust me, the look on someone's face when you tell them you paid $5 for something worth thousands is priceless. And hey, even if you do not find $1 million penny, hunting for them is honestly half the fun. It is like modern day treasure hunting without needing a metal detector or a pirate hat, although pirate hats are always a vibe. Alright folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into the wild world of the 1960 Abraham Lincoln penny. Who knew that something so small could pack such a huge financial punch? Remember this: the next time you are about to toss your pennies into a tip jar, you might just be giving away a piece of treasure. If you enjoyed hanging out today and you want more tips, tricks, and insider secrets on coins that could make you rich, do me a huge favor: hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and ring that little bell so you never miss out on future videos. Trust me, your wallet will thank you later. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change could literally change your life. I mean it, you could be walking around with a fortune jingling in your jeans right now and not even know it. Today we are diving into a tiny copper giant, the mighty 2003 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This bad boy might look like every other boring old penny you toss in a tip jar, but hold on to your hat, it can actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, one penny, $17 million. Now before you start flipping over every penny in your house like a maniac, stick around because we are going to talk about why this particular penny is so special, what to look for, how it could happen, and of course I have a hilarious personal story about how I almost threw away a coin that could have bought me a mansion. First things first, let's talk basics. The 2003 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cents series. You know, good ol' honest Abe staring off into the distance, all wise and whatnot. Now most 2003 pennies were made at either the Denver Mint with a little D mark or the Philadelphia Mint, which often didn't bother stamping anything at all. That no mint mark means it came from Philly. Normally a 2003 no mint mark penny is worth 1 cent, maybe 2 cents if you were feeling spicy, but once in a blue moon you get one of those rare error coins, and buddy, that is where things get interesting. Now the reason this particular penny is worth $17 million comes down to a very rare and juicy error, the kind of error that makes collectors lose their minds. We are talking about a double die error plus a very rare off-metal strike. Imagine you are baking cookies and you accidentally swap out sugar with salt. Your guests gag, but somewhere out there some weirdo absolutely loves it and offers you $1 million for the recipe. Same idea here: mistakes on coins that somehow slip through the cracks make collectors foam at the mouth. For the 2003 no mint mark penny, the most valuable versions have super clear doubling, and the inscriptions like Liberty will look a little blurry, almost like Abe had a few too many at the bar. Also, the date 2003 should look almost shadow doubled, and there might even be strange things going on in Abe's eye or the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on the back. On top of that, the craziest ones were struck on the wrong metal planchet instead of the usual copper-plated zinc. These error pennies ended up on foreign coin blanks like a dime blank or even an experimental metal slab. That kind of Frankenstein coin is ultra rare and collectors will pay big bucks to own one, which is why one of these 2003 no mint mark error pennies sold for a whopping $17 million at a private auction. So a few years ago I was cleaning out my car and found a whole handful of pennies under my seat. You know, the kind sticky dusty, probably some French fry grease on them. Normally I just toss them in a jar, but this time I thought, maybe I should actually Look through them just in case. While I found a weird looking penny, the date looked kind of blurry, but I figured it's just old and dirty, so what did I do? Naturally, I flipped it into a gas station tip jar like an absolute fool. Fast forward a few months, I am sitting at a coin show flipping through a book, and guess what photo pops up? A 2003 no mint mark penny with crazy doubling that looked suspiciously like the one I casually threw away. To this day, I still have nightmares about some gas station cashier out there living it up in a yacht paid for by my sloppy penny. The moral of the story, my friends, always check your change. Now you might be thinking, okay great, but what are the odds of finding one in 2025? And here's the thing, it's rare, like finding a unicorn that does your taxes. Rare, but it's not impossible. People still find valuable pennies every year because coins circulate for decades and decades. You could get one in your change at McDonald's, at a yard sale, at a flea market, even while couch diving for loose change. Grab a magnifying glass, look at the word liberty, look at the date 2003, look at Abe's eye, look at the steps on the Lincoln Memorial. If you see any doubling or weird blurriness, you might be onto something huge. Also feel the coin, some error coins struck on the wrong planchet feel lighter or heavier than a normal penny. If you find one, do not spend it on a Slurpee, instead put it in a plastic coin holder and take it to a trusted coin dealer or submit it for grading through PCGS or NGC. And if you do find one and sell it for millions, hey, maybe throw a few bucks my way for the tip. 2003 no mint mark Lincoln pennies are usually commoner, or pennies with doubling or struck on wrong metal are worth big bucks. Always check for doubling and liberty. The date, Abe's eye, and the memorial steps. Use a magnifying glass and trust your gut if something looks weird. If you think you found something special, get it graded before selling. If you enjoyed hanging out and learning about how a tiny penny could make you a millionaire, make sure you smash that like button, and most importantly hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any future tips, tricks and stories about coins that are secretly worth crazy money. We have got a lot more coming up, including which nickels could buy you a Ferrari and which quarters might just make you richer than your boss. Thanks for hanging out today, and remember, always check your change because you never know when $1 million penny is just waiting in the couch cushions. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into life change. If you've ever found a penny and thought, hey, it's just a penny, you might want to sit down, because today we're talking about a little brown coin that could literally buy you a mansion, a yacht, and still leave you with enough for a lifetime supply of pizza. That's right, I'm talking about the 1996 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, PNNY. Now, before you go flipping over your couch cushions, let me tell you today's episode is packed. We're diving deep into what makes this penny so valuable, how you can spot one in your collection, and I'm even going to share a little story about a time I almost threw away a coin worth thousands. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for that. Alright, first things first, let's talk about the basics. What is the 1996 mint mark penny and why is it worth more than most people's houses? The 1996 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the little d under the date. Now normally these pennies are pretty common, millions were made. They're like the potato chips of the coin world. There's plenty to go around and most of them are greasy and crumpled up in your car's cup holder, and it's a big but every now and then a rare error coin sneaks through the cracks. Something goes wonky at the mint, maybe somebody sneezes while the die is striking, or maybe the machine hiccups. Whatever happens, you end up with a special kind of coin that collectors go absolutely bananas for. In the case of the 1996 penny, the ones fetching insane prices usually have one or more of the following: double die obverse, which is just a fancy way of saying Lincoln looks like he's had one too many coffees and he's vibrating on the coin. Off center strikes, picture Lincoln awkwardly peeking in from the side like he's trying to photobomb his own coin. High grade uncirculated condition, meaning it looks as fresh as the day it left the mint, maybe even fresher than you looked on your first day of school. Now a penny in your pocket is usually beat up, sad, and honestly smells kind of weird, but a 1996 penny in near perfect condition with a rare error can command auction prices north of $1.8 million. Wild, right? So how can you spot one of these life-changing little guys? Simple. First, find a magnifying glass if you don't have one. Squinting very dramatically also works. Look closely at the date and at Lincoln's features. If anything looks doubled or just weirdly off, you might have something special. Also pay attention to the overall shine and condition. If your penny looks like it just got out of a spa day, you're already ahead of the game. Now let me tell you a quick story. This happened about 2 years ago. I was cleaning out my junk drawer, you know, the one everybody has with random batteries, expired coupons, and like 27 pens that don't work. I found a penny that looked unusually shiny. I thought, cool. Maybe it's a lucky penny. I almost threw it in a tip jar at my local coffee shop, no joke, but at the last second something told me to Google it. You ever get that feeling like when you're about to text your ex and something just says, hey, maybe don't? That was the vibe. Long story short, it turned out it wasn't $1 million coin, but it was worth about $350, which was way better than a large caramel macchiato with extra whip. So moral of the story, check your change, people, because you never know when Your next penny could buy you an entire coffee shop. Now you're probably wondering who even buys these things, who's out here spending millions on pennies. Rich collectors. That's who. The coin collecting world is massive. It's like Pokemon cards for adults, except instead of Charizard you're looking for a slightly crooked link. In auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers, see these coins sell all the time. Not just pennies either, nickels, dimes, quarters, even some weird half dollars can bring crazy prices. Here's a quick tip too: if you think you have something valuable, do not clean it. Whatever you do, don't scrub it with a toothbrush, don't polish it with toothpaste, don't even breathe too hard on it. Coin collectors want originality. They want that grimy, untouched, fresh from your grandma's cookie jar look. Instead, take it to a professional coin grader, someone who knows their stuff and can give you a real value, and who knows you might walk out of they're a millionaire just because you pick the right penny off the gas station floor. Now let's nerd out just a little bit for a second. The grading scale goes from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfection, like it just floated down from the heavens. If your 1996 D penny has a high grade, say mint state 67 or 68, that's when you start seeing dollar signs in your eyes. Most pennies grade out in the 50s or low 60s because life happens, you know. Pockets, washing machines, toddlers biting them. But if you have a 67 or higher, oh baby, you are in business. Also, fun fact, the D mint mark on a 1996 penny isn't always super clear. Sometimes it looks kind of mushed, like a toddler pressed it with their thumb. That's okay as long as the major errors are there. Your golden well copper, but you get the idea. Today we learned that a simple 1996 D Lincoln penny could secretly be a $1.8 million jackpot hiding in plain sight. You learned what errors to look for, how condition matters more than you'd think, and you even heard about the time I almost gave away a small fortune for a coffee tip. Bottom line, check your coins, my friends. Dig through that jar in the kitchen, empty out your car seats, yes, even under the french fries. Go through that drawer, that's basically a black hole of forgotten junk. You never know what little treasure could be hiding in there. If you liked hanging out with me today and you want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth crazy money, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button like it's a piñata at a kid's birthday party, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a chance to find treasure hiding in plain sight.